Isn't it weird that Weidman is not the main event next week? It seems weird to me.
Super
like Weidman,
weird.
Belfort, that feels like the main event for me. Not that there's anything wrong with Cormier Johnson, but it's like, we all know. We know that John Jones is the champ. They took John Jones' title away for non-fighting activity type shit.
What do you think about that? Have we talked about John Jones?
No, we haven't.
Have you talked about it on your podcast?
Yeah, I've talked about it.
What's your feelings
gotta
on that?
strip him. Gotta strip him.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to.
But however, even if he's not training and he's sitting in jail or where the fuck he's at, he's still the best fighter on the planet. There's no legit light heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Whoever wins that's not the real champion. I hate to tell you.
100% right. The only one who had a chance of proving that is Rumble, because if Rumble beats Cormier, we still don't know if he would have been able to beat Jones.
I agree.
But if Cormier beats Rumble, then we're in this like weird spot where we got this guy who's clearly he's the champ, but he's not the champ. Right?
And then Johnson come fresh out of prison, just a gut ready to destroy somebody.
Yeah, he's going to be a heavyweight when he come out of prison.
Yeah, he might.
Dude, he's going to run.
Is he really going to get time?
No one's going to fuck with John Jones.
It's not looking
in jail.
good, man.
The guys are probably going to test him.
Usually people
what he
get
did
time
is
for
real
that
bad.
shit.
The only way it'll work out, apparently, is if he makes some sort of a settlement with the woman, like they get together and he says, look, here's $1 million. Let's just let this shit go away, sign some paperwork, which is very possible and the smart thing to do.
Hell yeah.
If you don't want to go to jail.
That's priceless, right? Like you should give her $2 million.
But that would only be the civil charges, though. The criminal charges come from the police, right?
Yeah, that's a felony, homie.
Yes. But I think it's lessened in some sort of a strange way if the woman won't press charges.
It's 2 felonies, though, right?
That is true, though,
she's
right?
injured.
I mean, he ran from the scene of the crime. Like, yeah, he probably can't escape.
He
it.
left his car and just started running.
No,
Came
no,
back.
came back. This is where he's fucked, because if you leave the scene, you can say, whatever, head trauma, I was fucked up, I was out of it, so I ran.
Yeah.
But if you're smart enough to come back and get your cash and then run off, now you're fucked. That's not going to work. Because you were smart enough to go, oh, hold up, my cash is there. Let me go back and grab it.
Well, who knows what
and
else
then
he
dip
got
out.
as well. We say he got his cash. Like, you've seen a fucking dude in a hoodie grab some shit with his hand. It looks like cash. There could have been a bunch of other things involved in that hand. I mean, who knows what the fuck he grabbed. It's just sad.
It's super sad, man.
Why do you think he ran?
Most sad for the woman, obviously.
I think he was probably high.
I think he was high, and you got to remember he got
kind of high?
he got in
Coke high or
trouble
weed
before.
high?
He got in trouble before, and from what I've heard is, if you leave the scene, you're less likely to get in trouble. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I heard a cop say if you get in an accident and you are high and you run, that's the best case scenario.
You know
what
what?
kind of a cop are you talking to?
You know what? That is true. That is true.
Shady cop.
Just fucking flee.
Especially if you're
told me
high,
that
though.
too.
Especially if you're high. If
Yes.
you're high or on substance and you run, the charges are less.
A
Depending
cop
on
told
what
me the
city you're
same
in.
thing. He
Yeah.
said, because a DUI, that's going to fuck you up way worse
Yeah.
than you fleeing the scene,
Yep.
because now they don't
This
know if
isn't
you were
like good
intoxicated.
advice if anybody's listening.
Yeah, this is terrible
Don't listen to
advice.
these guys. It's good advice.
Maybe that's John
Be
Jones'
accountable
defense.
for your own
Yeah,
errors.
exactly.
Don't run away. Well, I think John had already had that one DUI, and if he was, in fact, fucked up, he was probably in full panic mode. I mean, he just got the Reebok deal. He was making really good money. He's doing all these commercials for Reebok. He had Instagram pictures constantly all the time, and he knew that was going away. Everything was going away. Most likely the title's going away. Public perception going to be terrible. The whole thing was a disaster. I think he just...
Total freak out.
He just needs to embrace this dark
awful.
night role.
Yeah,
Just be
you
like,
can't-
Fuck you guys.
No, you can't.
He needs to go with me to Peru.
See, he's not... Yeah, that's what he needs to do.
That's what's up.
He needs
I'll
to
tell
go
you, I'll just convince the judge.
do
Listen,
some
judge.
ayahuasca.
We'll show him all.
He
the
probably
fucking-
needs to do
done
what,
ayahuasca
Joe?
like 30 times already.
What were you going to say, Joe? He needs to do what? I think he embraces his villain role.
No, he can't.
Yeah, like the WWE. Be the heel.
He's got to realize that he's operating on momentum, meaning that like I think what John Jones is doing right now, I think life is like almost out of control for him. I think the overwhelming like all the pressure, all the craziness involved in being the youngest ever UFC champion, the light heavyweight champion, the crazy fucking fights, and knowing that some of his fights he's had really shitty camps.
That's what makes him great,
partying.
though. So you want to cage that lion and be like, listen,
That's not
none of
great.
that.
It doesn't make him great.
I
He
disagree.
is great. No, he is great, and there's that. It doesn't make him great. What makes him great is his training. It's just he's so good that he can get by with all the training he's already done, being half out of shape, and beat a guy like Alexander Gustafsson.
True, but I think if you take a guy like that and you say, all right, man, you got to quit being you, and you got to live in this house 9 to 5, go to training, come back. You can't party, can't do any of that. He's not going to be as good or as creative. Some guys you can't put the restraints on.
Yeah, but you only say that. Like, we don't know because we've never seen him do it. He was supposed to be doing it for this fight. Obviously, he wasn't.
Come on.
You know,
Yeah, there's
that was
there's a lot of
There's a balance, man.
Yeah.
there's a lot of famous football stars that are known cokeheads.
For
sure.
Yeah, people just and they kept it from people.
Well, how about Tyson? Tyson in his prime would be coked up in fights.
Lawrence Taylor.
That's not clear because when he doesn't really say that he was high during the fight. I heard.
I thought he did.
He's saying he was high. He was doing coke during that time, but he's not specifically saying that he was doing it in the fight.
Lawrence Taylor came out and admitted he played high all the time with cocaine, and he's one of the best players ever. Lawrence Taylor.
Is it a rumor
But Jones
or is
may
it a
not-
fact that Joe Montana was had problems with coke?
I'm not sure. How dare you bring Joe All-American Montana into
Tyson
this?
admits to being high. Tyson admits to being high on drugs during major fights and using a fake penis to avoid detection.
Well,
It's pretty clear.
that'll do
Nothing
it.
wrong with that.
Addicted to marijuana and cocaine is beating bitches up.
Jones may not have had. Jones may not have had a problem
you know what?
with coke.
John
though.
Jones.
Just
Hold
partying.
on, what? Say that again?
Jones may not have had a problem with coke. He might have just been partying one night. Like, it's
Bro,
just,
if you're doing it that close to a fight, you got a problem.
You think
know-
so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. I think for him, he's just got to reconcile who he truly is. Like, I think he tried to play this "I'm nice guy," and then that kind of got busted with DC, and then he was kind of left with this perception gap of what he was trying to portray and what he actually knew that he was deep inside. And I think he's just got to reconcile that and just be truly what he is. If he's a fucking savage, just be a fucking savage.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
just be Chuck Liddell.
Be truly who you are.
Don't
and
become
then you
Flanders
won't, then you won't
overnight.
get
Yeah.
all
Yeah, but Chuck
uncomfortable.
Liddell was a different kind of dude, you know. Chuck Liddell was wild party dude, but he wasn't like what John Jones. His situation is, first of all, driving drunk. There's a big difference. Like Chuck would party. I guarantee he'd probably get limos or something like that. You know, like he never got busted drunk driving.
And the great-
driving part's a big one.
Chuck Liddell embraced his celebrity more than any fighter I knew. He just he loved it. He had a great time. He was on his after parties. I mean, he's just on fire. He's just like his after parties, just talking about how he fucked these dudes up, and everyone's like, "Fuck, this is Chuck," and everyone's taking shots. He's taking shots. He's like, he could just like at the club going, "Raw!" Like it's
The game's changed, though.
and he was so fucking goddamn nice. And I'm not just saying that because he's a friend of mine.
He's a very
so
nice guy.
cool. He's one of the coolest guys ever.
I just don't. You think you can make the comparison? Chuck Liddell was never thought of as a bad guy.
True.
I mean, yeah, he liked to party, but like people think of John as a bad guy.
Chuck wasn't fake either. Like Chuck
Right.
didn't put on this persona.
There was no
Exactly.
reconciliation
Exactly.
that needed to
he
happen.
wasn't confused.
He was just a caveman.
Yeah, with a
Fucking
mohawk.
people up.
It's just a weird thing to see a guy as young and talented as John repeat the same mistakes that you've seen all these other young, talented guys do.
It's heartbreaking, man.
It is. Kelvin Gastelum is in the mix right now at 170. He's one of the, well, if he makes 170
He fights Nate Marquardt next, who's a
that's
vet.
Very interesting. Very interesting fight. Very interesting fight. And really interesting only because you got to factor in how much mileage Nate has on him.
I wish Nate's a very close friend, and I'm going to bring him in here to have the Joe Rogan talk.
I can't have it with him because then he'll have the Jesus talk with me and we'll be at a standstill.
I know, but it's going to be good podcast, you know?
I don't know him like I know you. The
No,
only
I'm
reason
just
why the
kidding,
Joe
man.
Rogan talk exists is because I love you.
I know, brother. I know. I'm just saying with Nate, I wish someone could get through to him.
Yeah,
I want him to
it's
see.
hard.
When I started, Nate was the baddest motherfucker ever. He fucked up everybody and anybody. You name them, they would, like GSP would fly Nate to Montreal, Rashad Evans, all these guys. Nate was the baddest motherfucker I knew. So now when I watch him fight, I'm like, oh my God, he's a shell. And I'm going to take some heat for saying that from my friends, but he is. It's true, man. It's horrible to watch.
You could only run so many miles. You can only get hit so many times. Your body can only take so many body slams, chokes, arm bars, head kicks. All those things add up, and you get to a point. Unless you're Vitor Belfort, how the fuck is this? We're just looking at him right now.
Well, I think they're on
UFC 12.
I think they're on different supplements.
Well, I don't know if you talk. I don't. Do you realize he's tested clean?
Bro,
how dare you?
Oh, you got to realize too. Nate's been fighting. Hold since he was 17.
Look at this, Rumble in DC.
It's a good fight.
It is a very good fight. It's just the problem is ultimately if DC wins, that's really the problem.
That's worst case
There's
scenario
no
for the
problem.
UFC. That's
just
worst
think-
case. I want
whatever.
DC to win. I want DC to win.
Do you think that DC, if DC won, like let's just say DC wins, do you think that it's conceivable that DC can improve to the point where he could possibly beat John Jones?
Is this like John
Maybe.
Jones fresh out of prison?
I'd want to see
like all
it.
groggy and shit.
No, not
He
fresh
might-
out of prison. John Jones with a full camp.
No one in the world's beaten John with a full camp. No one in the world, not even close.
But people would pay to see.
That wasn't even a
if
good
he
fight.
could do it.
You got to remember, him versus DC, that wasn't a good fight. He dominated DC. I gave
did
DC
beat
maybe
him.
one round.
If
He
that,
dominated him.
The fact
Remember,
that he
took
won
him down.
one round is
the
incredible.
first round,
Yeah, what?
right away, went right to it.
What? That
John Jones
wasn't a good fight, man.
John Jones is a bad motherfucker. Weidman versus Belfort. What do you think about that fight?
It's a tough call because what Belfort's coming in there. Belfort off TRT and getting tested all the time.
Different guy, right?
It's a different guy. Weidman is a fucking beast.
He is a beast.
A beast. To me, how Weidman's not more famous and a bigger name is crazy. The guy's so talented, man. He should be the face of the UFC, how talented he is.
Yeah.
But he's not.
Yeah, Weidman's a motherfucker, dude. If he beats down Vitor Belfort, this might be like a breakout fight for him.
He needs a breakout fight. You know what I'm saying? You would think the Machida one would have done it.
Well, if he stopped Machida, maybe that would have done it.
True.
You know, the thing is, Machida and him was an amazing fight, but it was a 5-round amazing war.
It's tough for him because he beats Anderson Silva twice, right? But everyone's like, Anderson was fucking around, and his leg fell off in that other one.
Yeah.
And then he gets Lyoto Machida, and it's
His
like
leg fell off.
It's like back and forth. But see, yeah, you're right though. If he destroys Vitor, now we got a superstar.
Yeah.
Such a good dude too, man.
You know, Vitor could probably make welterweight now, and I'm not bullshitting. If
when
you
we
look
saw
at,
him in
like,
Vegas
Thatch,
that time, I was
yeah.
like, huh?
Well, that was when he was fresh off of it. When he was fresh off of it, his body morphed, dude. I mean, he lost a shit ton of weight. You know, you got to look at a guy like Cormier and think also he's like 36 or 37.
37.
37. He's been competing and wrestling his whole life. He's only been fighting MMA, I think, since he was like 30, right?
Yeah, not long.
6-7 years.